Good morning. I'm Marc Mintz. I'll be the person up in front of the room for the next couple of days, and this is Practical Paranoia, OS 10 Security Essentials. In this course, we are going to cover fundamentally the NSA Manual on Security. The National Security Agency does put out a manual for consultants and technicians describing how they need their systems set up to ensure that the bad guys don't get into our governmental computers. They do a pretty good job. They don't do a great job, which is a little bit surprising. The book goes into greater detail than they need for their own computers, including things like your iPhones and texting, things along those lines. So we're going to be talking about all of that in the course. Most Mac users are fairly overly confident about the security of their systems. The MI5 in England, Homeland Security, the FBI, and the CIA, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, primarily use OS 10 systems because they are more secure than Windows. Doesn't mean that they're totally secure, just more. But security is a little bit like when you lock the doors of your house when you leave on vacation. It keeps the honest people out because no matter how good your deadbolts are, all it takes is a rock to bypass your security and break a window to get inside of your house. When I was freshly out of college, my very first job was as manager of a chain of mercantile stores, cowboy shops. And one of our stores was broken into constantly. So one of my first tasks was to put a security system in where we armed all of the doors. And about a week after we put that security system in, we were robbed again, and the alarm didn't go off. Because what they did is they drove a truck through the wall. And then to get into each one of the rooms of the warehouse, they took sledgehammers and broke down the walls instead of opening up the doors. So it's a very low-tech way of bypassing a very high-tech security system. And the same is true with your computer. You will be attacked at your weakest point. So the issue doesn't become creating a really strong password that nobody can break, because then they'll just go at it a different way. So we really need to be secure in all areas to make sure that you don't have any weaknesses, and the bad guys, thieves, whoever, are going to move on to somebody who is an easier target instead of going to your system. Some of the statistics that come out from the FBI, with Norton Symantec, their studies show that the average enterprise breach, and we're talking about Fortune 500 type companies, if they get hacked into, on average, that costs about $5 million to recover from that. Obviously, that's not going to be true for our small businesses. In our small businesses, we just go out of business when we get breached. According to the FBI, over 2 million laptops were stolen in the US each year, and Macs are at the top of the list for the thieves to steal. Nobody's really interested in stealing a $200, Acer laptop. They want a $3,000 MacBook Pro Retina. According to the FBI, only 3% of those that are stolen are recovered. The cost of the computer is negligible. With luck, you have homeowners insurance or business insurance that's going to cover the cost of the replacement of your computer. What is costly is the data that's on there, that if somebody gets their hands on that data, it's very dangerous. I had a very dear friend that was going for her PhD dissertation in Phoenix. And while she was waiting in the auditorium for all the other PhD candidates to give blowing their hot air, she was sitting in the back of the auditorium on her iPad on her Facebook account. And she was on the college's Wi-Fi network. When she got back to the hotel that evening, her Facebook account had been vandalized, her own personal website had been vandalized, her bank account had been drained. And the reason was somebody was spying on that Wi-Fi network and was looking for usernames and passwords. They happened to find her username and password getting into Facebook. She uses the same username and password for every account. And they have automated bots, automated programs that take that information and scan hundreds of thousands of different websites using that username and password. And they came across her website, they came across her Bank of America account, and life became problematic at that point. Good morning. You are? Chris, welcome. Marc Mintz here. Welcome. We're just getting started here. Did you bring your own system or using the computer here?
Yeah, two of everything.
Excellent. out of the box. So when you buy a brand new Macintosh, out of the box, it takes about 30 seconds to break into it. There is no security on your Mac out of the box. Apple would like you to think differently. In fact, if you go to the Apple Store and ask them about security, if you ask them about the need for anti-malware, antivirus software, they're going to say that there's no need for it. And that's really more spin doctor than anything else. They just want you to feel safe and secure instead of acknowledging that there are problems. Not that there's a defect in the operating system, it's just that you need to enforce the rules. Windows malware, Windows viruses can't affect your Mac unless you're running a boot camp or Parallels or VMware with Windows on your machine. However, you can pass along the malware to other people. Maybe 99% of all malware is passed along by way of email. So if you get an email that has malware in it, you probably don't even know it. If you were to forward that, joke of the day, to somebody that you know, or everybody in your address book, which is what most people do, if it happens to go to somebody who's running Windows and they don't have the most current up-to-date anti-malware software installed, you've now infected them. Some of these codes will infect an entire network at that point. And I have had clients who have taken down their friends, their associates, their business partners' entire networks, including erasing servers. And it's a poor neighbor policy to be infecting your neighbors. So we really want anti-malware on our computers to protect the people that we care for and that we love, even if most of the malware out there doesn't affect us. Depending on how you measure it, there's somewhere between 50,000 and maybe as many as 2 million malware for Windows. There's under 300, not 300,000, there's under 300 for the Mac. The ones that are out there for the Mac are pretty nasty. They will erase everything, many of them will erase everything on your computer in no time at all. Yes?
I assume the trend is